Okay, welcome to What's Niggling Me. Here I like to present facts, stats, and I see that the World Health Organization has expanded their powers. This says here they're currently considering, they passed it. I believe it was May 20th. And it is going to expand their surveillance powers during times of international health risk. It will allow its member states to coordinate surveillance more effectively during health emergencies. I believe they already had too much fucking surveillance power. I'm pretty disturbed to see this. Now, it's unfortunate. I live in Canada and we love the World Health Organization here. Dr. Tam was advising, and this is a government document, was advising that people use glory holes during COVID. You can go right here. World Health Assembly adopts historic pandemic agreement. Not a fucking fan. Now, I'm gonna have to come there and fix the brightness probably when I pull this screen up. Let's look at Canada. I remember showing my mom this. If you saw the death tolls in Canada year by year, you would never know there was a pandemic. Because we were fucking lied to. Let me fix the stats for you. This is your Health Canada's fucking government website. Let's look at the numbers. (2019, 20, 21, 22, and 23. What do we have here for number? All total deaths before the pandemic, even though the pandemic did start in 2019. 2020. It went up in 2021, even though the vaccine was starting to be distributed. Why did the death total go up even more? And I believe boosters were out then. Why were there that many more deaths? Why were there more deaths every year? When the COVID shot was supposed to be safe and effective and stop the spread. You don't want to kill your grandparents and people's grandparents. Remember that lie? You gotta get the shot so you don't kill your grandparents. Remember the fear they fucking tried? I know they unfortunately succeeded on a mass number of people. So to show that this COVID shot that they pushed on everybody was garbage, let's go look at the COVID death numbers. Remember, first column is 2019. COVID deaths are down here. Right here. Bottom one, COVID. So in 2020, apparently, this is according to Health Canada, we're gonna go by their numbers. They started, who knows when they started counting COVID deaths? March, did they start? Because COVID started in 2019, they don't have any for that apparently. So three quarters of the year, we got 15,000 numbers. When was the, that's probably gonna mess my, we'll look real quick. I'll fix the brightness. When was Canada's first COVID shot available? So all of 2021. So at the end of December. So all of 2020, 21. Let's see if that's too bright. Feel free to pause and zoom in on that. $14,617 deaths in 2021. Why in 2022, when the vaccine was full blown to as many people as you could convince, were there more deaths? I don't understand. Apparently there's been no more deaths of COVID in 2024. Is that what that is? Where is it? Come on. There we go. COVID. 2019, 20, 21, 22. For some reason, tons. 2023. I wonder when they stopped counting. But why in 2022, with the vaccine widely available, are there more deaths? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, they loved pushing this vaccine on kids, right? They wanted to get babies to fucking get it in their fucking vaccine schedule. Look at how many deaths fucking babies had. Total of 10 they have. 10 babies died of COVID, apparently. In the whole fucking pandemic in Canada. I'm pretty sure 2024 Canada opioid death. 50,000 of them, eh? That sounds more like a fucking pandemic to me. Oh, wait. Between 2006 and 2024. %75% of accidental apparent opioid toxicity deaths involve fentanyl. Do I believe that number? That in 8 years, 50,000 people died from opiates? Let's go overdose. Curious how they're labeling that. That's the number they want to give me, eh? They want to total it. We're going to have to look further into that. Like, because that's what? The US? Damn, that says cocaine. Lead drug responsible for overdose deaths in fucking Newfoundland. When I was growing up, I had a coach in hockey, and his son ate a bag of cocaine, and it didn't really explode, but it opened in him, and he died. He wasn't that much older than me. And I know quite a fucking few people that have died from fucking fentanyl. Back to our numbers. 10 babies dead from COVID total. Can we get a 1 to 18? That would be awesome. I wish we could have a 1 to 18. 15 to 19-year-olds. High school going into college. Should all of those kids be forced to be vaccinated? Because it doesn't stop the spread. That's a fucking lie. That was an absolute fucking lie. Wow. 1 death, 7, 2, 3. 13 deaths. Thank God we forced all those kids to get fucking vaccinated. Huh. Thank God, eh? 1 to 4-year-olds, should you have been vaccinating your children like the government of Canada told you to do? To be a good boy and girl and get your kids vaccinated? With a garbage COVID shot that doesn't stop the spread? 1 to 4-year-olds. No kids died in 2020. 1 to 4. Then we administered the vaccine and somehow more died. I'm just presenting the numbers that Statistics Canada is giving to me. Should you have vaccinated your kid to go to kindergarten and into grade school? COVID deaths. Oh, how about that one? 14. In 3 fucking years. We're almost 1 to 18 years old after this one. Maybe somebody could total it up. What are we at? 25 fucking deaths? 7, 8, 9. 30, 35 deaths total in Canada from COVID if you're under 19 years old. That doesn't seem like a good idea to get all those people vaccinated. That doesn't seem like a good idea. We'll say these kids are in college, university too. Should it have been mandated to get COVID vaccines, shots? 24, 33, 36, from 20 to 24. Those are facts and numbers. That after a vaccine for COVID was given, the death toll continued to rise in Canada, showing that the COVID shot that pharmaceutical companies made billions and billions of dollars off of, that Bill Gates made millions and millions, I want to say $250 million Bill Gates made in 2 years from a garbage shot marketed as good by Rachel Maddow, making $30 million a year on whatever that, MSNBC. She made $30 million a year to lie and say that if you get the shot and be a good boy and girl, it'll stop the spread. It did not. It was a fucking lie. They fucking lied to you. No apology, no accountability. A fucking lie. Just move on. It's in the past. Those are the people in denial and that are blatant liars. Bill Gates shares for the shot. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation initially invested in September 2019, just months before the announcement of the pandemic. The foundation's initial investment was $55 million, with the potential for total funding to reach $100 million. The first investment to collaborate with them to develop vaccines and immunotherapies for preventing HIV and TB. During the third quarter of 2021, the foundation significantly reduced its BioNTech holdings by 86%. Oh, I guess they were done trying to prevent HIV and TB. 2 years later, they were done. Selling the majority of their shares, 86%. Selling it at their peak value in 2021, making 15 times the initial investment. Please keep telling me that Bill Gates is a great person, just a great philanthropist. He's Jeffrey Epstein's fucking buddy. And funded, I believe, 88% of the WHO that is pushing for more surveillance in the next pandemic. Bill Gates is funding the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which will receive most of his remaining fortune over the next 20 years until it closes in 2045. He plans to donate approximately $200 billion to the foundation. Blah, blah, blah. Where's the WHO money? I don't like that I don't see the amount. Oh, it's because I have WHO in there. I have to put World Health Organization in there. Fucking unbelievable. Oh my god. The foundation pledged $100 million in February 2020. Later increased its commitment to $250 million. In terms of regular funding, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is the second largest funder of the WHO's program budget, providing 9.8% of the organization's funds. That sets big concerns. That's crazy. 2017. Bill Gates got a United Nations health agency in Geneva. Meet the world's most powerful doctor. A guy that's not even a doctor. He might have some honorary doctorate. The flip side to Bill Gates' charity billions. Huh. Fuck Bill Gates. I don't trust that guy at all. More surveillance, more mandates, more control. More control. That's what the future has for us. Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, that's what the JD Vance will be the placeholder for those guys. And we will have global surveillance. That really sucks that someone's cutting the fucking lawn right now. I guess let's try and wrap this bitch up quick then. We'll go with this guy, Anthony Weiner. I mentioned him to my brother last week, and then what do you know? He was on Adam Friedland's podcast, and I couldn't believe it. He was on Patrick Bet-David's podcast like a year ago, maybe longer. And he's a registered sex offender. This guy likes young girls. And he's running for New York City Council. Insane that the former fucking member of the United States House of Representatives from New York City is gonna run for politics again. This guy's a fucking idiot. He's got an Instagram. I checked it out. I couldn't believe it. It's kind of funny. I just went real quick through the followers and following. He follows his ex-wife. She doesn't follow him. He follows the like Republican House, the GOP, and they don't follow him. I saw one person in there that followed him. Who was it that I was pretty surprised by? I saw one person. I forget who it was. I don't think I took a picture. Anthony Weiner. This is his real account. This guy's a fucking idiot, Anthony Weiner. He doesn't really give a shit, though. I'll give you that. He doesn't give a shit anymore. He's had his life just fucking... Oh, Mark Levine was the guy. This guy is both of them are fucking just hardcore Zionists. Mark Levine, though, big fucking idiot. And he wants to be in control of New York City's, all of their finances. That's what he's running for. Mark Levine is running for control of all finances in New York City. You want him to oversee all the finances? I don't know. Side note, a lot of Canada trusted a banker to lead Canada, which is fucking insane and hilarious. Just shows how naive and uninformed the majority of people are. But we didn't even choose a Jewish one. If you think that we're going to get finances back in order, Mark Carney is not the choice. A Leibowitz or something would be. But anyways, Anthony Weiner. Now, I've tried. Ron Johnson, he's a senator. He filed to get more information. I read it. This right here. I read it on my phone. Don Johnson's letter to the DOJ about Anthony Weiner's laptop. And I read it. I think it's a 2018 one. Yeah, 2018. And I just accidentally clicked something. Okay. So I read through this whole fucking thing. and it didn't give me anything, except I looked through, I checked these people out. Strodzik or whatever. Where am I at? It's this guy right here. I remember seeing this guy on the news or something somewhere. He's a fucking idiot. He led this investigation. A fucking lie. Where is it? Led the investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 United States elections. It was a lie. There was no... Right here, it says right here. He was also involved in the FBI's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 elections and the Steele dossier. This, right here, the Steele dossier from Christopher Steele, was funded by Hillary Clinton. And what you do is you hire Christopher Steele because he's a former MI6 intelligence agent, right here. And it's not illegal. What is it? Like, it's not illegal. It was illegal for Hillary Clinton to do this. But what you do, it's kind of like the torturing thing. The CIA is not allowed to spy on its own citizens. Legally. I'm 99.9% sure they do it anyways. They're not even allowed to do it in the United States. I'm pretty sure the FBI is for stuff at home. CIA is for abroad. That doesn't mean shit to me. I believe they're liars. So what Hillary Clinton did was, since she wasn't able to get the CIA or the FBI to spy on Trump, she got a British intelligence officer to try and spy on him, write up this dossier. That's what the Steele dossier is, Christopher Steele. And none of it was true. And Hillary Clinton is the one who funded it. Why do I put both their names in there and Steele dossier comes up? The DNC. Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign and the Democratic National Committee hired Christopher Steele through a law firm, Perkins Coie, to conduct opposition research on Donald Trump's ties to Russia. He compiled the controversial Steele dossier, which contained unverified and salacious allegations about Trump, including claims of a collusion with Russia. Clinton campaign and the DNC were fined by the Federal Election Commission for misreporting the money spent on the research that led to the Steele dossier. They misrepresented the spending as legal services and legal and compliance consulting rather than opposition research. The DNC was fined $105,000 and the Clinton campaign was fined $8,000. Oops. Why didn't they put that on the news? Because the news works for the DNC, the private organization. That's why they've never had a real primary since Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. Because they subvert democracy, because they're a private organization. That's why they railroaded Bernie Sanders 2 times. Because they are a private organization and can do whatever they want. That's not democracy. This guy's the one, Christopher Steele is the one that was making up that there was video of Donald Trump getting peed on in the bed that Obama would stay in Russia. Like, bullshit like that. That's these salacious allegations. This guy's a fucking loser, Christopher Steele. And they are all liars. DNC, private corporation. Democratic National Committee. So Democratic shouldn't even be in this name. Is considered a private corporation. It is not bound by the same regulations as public entities. So you're voting for a private organization. That subverts democracy. Proven. They just don't report it on the news. Anthony Weiner. Hilarious. Because Anthony Weiner, the guy who wants to be on the New York City Council, he sent one pic. Now, he was married and he shouldn't have done this. But he was sexting this one woman and sent a picture with boxers on and a bulge. But the other problems came a couple years later. He was running for mayor of New York, and he was sexting 3 women since resigning from Congress from sending the bulge pic. And then this is where it blew up Hillary Clinton's email, her presidential election. He was sexting a 15-year-old girl, and he was. I read the FBI fucking thing, and I read the Don Johnson letter to the DOJ, and he went to jail for 21 months. They found a couple 100,000 fucking emails on this laptop. I thought I had a lot of emails. And his wife, Uma Abedin, I believe is her name, she fucked up, and the emails she was getting on her phone she was logged in on the computer at home. So the emails went over there too. And so I believe there was 2,800 work emails, or 20. Huh. I don't know how bright that is. This is the Don Johnson thing. Oh, lost that DNC one. Anthony Weiner, he's a sex offender. It's on the sex offenders list. And I thought it was funny in all these news articles, American, and then the Times of Israel. But how many months in prison? He says he's cured. And I've come across a lot of these people that like kids, and none of them are ever cured. So it's weird that he says he is. This guy wants to be back in politics. I swear I had a thing up. No, I have a fuckload of tabs, I understand. And I believe there was like 2,800. Hillary Clinton had classified information I don't know if Hillary. The emails that were on Anthony Weiner's laptop, there was emails between Hillary Clinton and Uma Abedin, and there was classified stuff in there. It says it in here. Where is it? Not lying. This guy, he worked for the FBI. I pulled him up there. I called up to Andy's earlier. Hundreds of thousands of emails turned over by Weiner's attorney to, I don't know what that is, SDNY, something New York. Includes a ton of material from spouse, so that's Uma Abedin. Sending team up tomorrow to review. This will never end. Turned over to them. Why? Apparently one of his recent texting partners may have not been 18. Don't have the details yet. Yes, reported 15 in the news. Right up here. It appears that high-level FBI officials were aware in late September 2016 of the discovery of emails potentially relating to the Hillary Clinton investigation on a laptop belonging to Ms. Abedin, husband, Congressman Weiner. The cryptic and disjointed nature of the text messages, in addition to heavy redactions applied to other FBI documents, make it difficult to understand fully the sequence of events. However, the information available raises questions about the timing of the FBI's actions. It's pretty interesting. Interesting. And I want to just touch on one more thing. And it is about this guy. This is an old article, obviously, as you see, published August 26, 2001 at 4 in the morning on the New York Post. New York's top cop is heading for Israel to trade advice about NYPD anti-terrorism tactics in exchange for help in cutting off the Big Apple supply of the club drug ecstasy. I've read this before. I don't know if I read it. Maybe I read it. You know what? I feel like there used to be more to the article. It would be cool if it said edited somewhere. Okay, what's funny about this? It's short. New York's top cop, right? He's doing that. When is this? August 26th, right? 2 weeks before 9/11. Israeli officials will roll out the red carpet for Bernard Kerik when he arrives in Jerusalem for 4 days of meetings with officials, including a state dinner with Ariel Sharon, the prime minister at the time. On the work agenda will be discussions about staving the flow of ecstasy from Israel to the United States and about tactics for dealing with terrorism and large crowd control. That's weird to do 2 weeks before 9/11. That's not what he said. That's what I said. He said, I think there are things they can learn from us and we can learn from them. It's a good time to go. It sends a message to people that they should not hesitate to go to Israel. Huh? This will be the first official visit to the Holy Land for Kerik. This is important. Who said he spent a few days in the country nearly 20 years ago while working as a bodyguard for Saudi Arabia's royal family. Kerik will take a small, I don't know what that word is, ratoon, a small group, we'll call it, of security guards on the taxpayer-funded trip. He was invited by Security Minister Uzi Landau and Jerusalem Mayor Ehud Olmert. Maybe I said him right, maybe I didn't. When the two Israelis visited New York last May. The ecstasy issue was on the agenda because Israel is a major port of origin for shipments of the drug into the United States. It's interesting that Israel was making a ton of ecstasy. In July, the New York Police Department busted 2 Israelis trying to steal $40 million worth of the drug here. Ecstasy has been popular among young people for more than a decade, especially those in the rave party scene. Also on the agenda will be talks about stopping terrorism and dealing with large mobs of people. The New York Police Department has successfully dealt with several large protests and huge events such as New Year's Eve in Times Square and is preparing for 9/11. No, it doesn't say that. And is considered a leader in crowd control. In addition, they're going to take him to the Holocaust Memorial in Jerusalem. So Kerik went and did this. They forgot to leave out that he was going to meet Bernard Kerik, Steve Witkoff. I believe that's who he met, correct? Give me 1 second. It says right here that Bernard Kerik received a presidential pardon from Donald Trump in 2020 for his federal convictions. As you'll see here, he was Steve Witkoff. If you don't know, he's served as the United States Special Envoy to the Middle East since 2025 for Trump. Finally, down here, there is a connection between Kerik and Witkoff through a financial transaction. Kerik received about $236,000 from New York real estate mogul Stephen C. Witkoff between 2001 and 2003. Huh. Right? Weird. Can I find? Oh, it's right here. So if we forgot, it didn't mention that, and I don't know this guy's name offhand. That's not the person I'm looking for. This is the Robin Hood guy, isn't it? Is that who this is? I see the person's name that I'm looking for. Side note real quick. Is this... Oh no, what am I clicking? Oh. WeWork. I knew I'd recognize this fucking face. This fucking loser. This guy's a fucking fraudster, in my opinion. This guy's a fraud. What is this? How is Adam Newman different than Elizabeth Holmes? Another fucking fraud. Bro, I gotta look at this guy. $1 billion loser. The epic rise and spectacular fall of Adam Newman. And now this guy's trying again? Well, we'll be back to look at this guy in another date. That's not who I want. I want... Yeah, this is a lie right here. Bernard Kerik does not appear to be associated with any Israeli billionaires based on the available information. Bernard Kerik, he was involved. Yeah, what's this then? He was involved in a loan transaction with an Israeli billionaire named Etan, E-I-T-A-N. I don't know how they pronounce it. Etan Wertheimer. But there is no indication that Carrick himself is an Israeli billionaire. I know. It says does not appear to be associated with any Israeli business. AI, you need to step your fucking game up. Because he is, right there. He got like 250,000 from him. And he met with him. I know it. Etan Wertheimer meeting. I know they met in Israel when he went there. See, met during Carrick's trip to Israel in August 2021. Met with him a couple years later, gave him a fat $250,000 interest-free loan. He must have did a good job. He must have been a good boy. Must have been a good boy. Worked security for the Saudis. Worked for the Israelis. Oversaw 9/11. This guy right here died the other day. Bernard Carrick died on May 29th with a lot of secrets, I believe. He was given Minister of the Interior of Iraq. This guy was doing people's dirty deeds. This guy right here was not a good person. And everybody's got a price. If you're not willing to die, forget where I just heard this. If you're not willing to die for your cause, then you got a price and you can be paid off. This guy right here was willing to be paid off. And you died with secrets. I touched on him in other pods. Maybe you didn't see. We had a lot of dirty, corrupt people. I will continue to shed light on them. I am working on the biggest of them all, in my opinion, from what I think. I don't know where it's at. That's not it. Is it this? No. Who knows where it is? Right here. Oh, my last thing I'll touch on then, even though it was supposed to be Bernard Carrick. Again, okay, so Ian Carroll. I saw Ian Carroll suggest that, and he's right, the stock market is a dirty game. A dirty game played by hedge fund, other people as well, but hedge funds, it's a dirty gambling scheme. And he said the way to put an end to that is make it transparent, put it on the blockchain. And that's a great idea, except this company right here, Ian Carroll loves looking up, and he's gone after and looked at a lot of the big dogs, big companies that own everything. Either he I'm going to just say, hopefully, he hasn't come across this company. It's not even a company. It's a trust company. And that trust rate in there makes them not able to be audited. That word makes them not able to be audited. And unfortunately, this company technically owns substantially all of the publicly issued stock in the United States. And that right there is why it can't be on the blockchain. Because it's they're not technically the company's Apple is not technically publicly traded. You don't technically own a percentage of Apple if you buy shares. Seed and Company does. Now, I don't even know what will happen if I put this in here. But after this, we'll just sign off because we're just going to make this company one episode. So it gets pulled or it doesn't. Who owns? I don't see a name in there. It's a private financial institution. And is owned by certain employees of DTC. The DTC itself is owned by its participants, which are banks and brokerage houses, and not by employees of DTC. And not employees. Is owned by certain employees of DTC and not by employees of DTC. Ooh, the Daily Star, I see that. It's very interesting to use different search engines, even if you use Google on your phone and on your laptop. You can get different search results, which is insane. But Google's never going to give me the information I want. American Banker you don't really own. Oh, what's that say? I bet you that says, can blockchain fix it? Oh, it does. Can blockchain fix that? Maybe I'll read that. Ooh. That's an interesting one. Wow, you're giving me a lot of search results on here, Brave. One company owns nearly all of America's stocks. I know that. I don't want to Reddit. Ooh, I like that. I love that. I want government websites, and when they're gonna give me stuff from the archives, I'm down to read. Inside secret $250 billion company. I don't think quadrillion. I think more trillions than anybody knows. I'm gonna read this as well. And I'm curious what this is in 2015. Secret $1 trillion company. That's true. And I do believe they own America. So we're going to do a bunch of checks on the tabs. We'll get rid of Anthony Weiner. Don Johnson's letter you should read. Anthony Weiner. Anthony Weiner. WHO pisses me off. Our death total numbers to show that this wasn't COVID-19 was not as deadly as they made it out to be, and they should not have been mandating fucking shots for kids for schools to go for, because I wonder if this is even a Googleable thing or whatever. How many people are under 19 in Canada? $5.7 million people they were trying to convince to get vaccinated for COVID-19, and like 25 people died from COVID-19 under 19. I'm pretty sure. I think that's what the numbers were there. We'll say 30. 5.7, that's, we'll call it 5 million people. They convinced to, and their parents, they convinced their parents to make them vaccinate their kids for COVID-19. 2 shots, that's 10 million shots. Saying there's no booster. Hopefully they woke up and realized this was no point in getting. So those pharmaceutical companies got to make a lot of money by administering 10 million shots. What a fucking fraudulent fucking scheme. I'm sure I'll bring your name up again because I think you are dirty. Bill Gates, I know I'll bring you up again because you're a piece of garbage. Oof, it is fucking bright to me. We got some interesting things to look into. My government one. This is going to be interesting to read. I don't even think I need that. Oh, you know what this is going to be? It's just going to mention Seed and Company. What is this? It's a sum of $400 million. For what? People's United Bank, a federal stock saving bank, herein called the bank, for value received, hereby promises to pay or deliver, as the case may be, to Seed and Company or registered, assigns the principal sum of $400 million in United States dollars on the maturity date shown above. they issued this $400 million. Who the fuck did they give him $400 million to? And they had 10 years to pay it back. Did they pay it back? Interest is 200. The security will hold a beneficial interest in a principal amount of $250,000 or an integral multiple thousand excess times People's United Bank. Who's the People's United Bank? I want to know what this is. The context includes details about United Overseas Bank and United Bank for Africa, but not People's United Bank. I'm gonna have to refer that. I'm gonna have to refer this. I'm very interested in what I've accidentally stumbled across. Who or what is seed and what role does seed play in the trading of stocks? Bottom of this says there is no transparency with the electronic clearing and settlement system that we now use. Total lack of transparency to outsiders and even to the SEC, which is supposed to be the regulator of the securities industry. Only the DTCC and broker-dealers who own the DTCC have access to the entirety of data showing who actually bought and sold shares and to determine if illegal naked shorting has created counterfeit shares. This information is or should be readily available, but attempts to access it are stonewalled and met with determined resistance. It says the SEC has shown zero interest. Gary Gensler. Elon Musk aptly describes the SEC as the Short Sellers Enrichment Commission. It's pretty funny. I'm after these people. The DTCC. See, I know this, and I'm after them. And what else do we got right here? They're talking about Secret Trillion, Daily Star UK. powerful organization. Yep. 34 trillion in assets. I'm gonna go with 75 to 100. I don't like that it has this on here, even though, like, you know, I get having that up there. I'm after these people. I'm after you guys. And this, oh, wasn't there one in here that said quadrillion? I didn't click it. The real Illuminati. I'll run through it. Oh, no. This isn't a theory. I don't know when this article was written. 2023. By Dick Burkard. Don't worry, bud. I'm gonna do a whole pod on it. Deuces.